Hi everyone. In true May fashion, we are going to do this Q&A with a coffee in hand. I just hit 4,000 subscribers literally yesterday morning, and I wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you once again. Every time that it's a new subscriber or 10 new subscribers or hundreds or thousands, I get so happy of the fact that we build this little tiny luxury handbag fashion style sort of community. And I'm so happy that I decided to start my YouTube channel in order to connect with so many of you. So I did post a question box over on my Instagram and here on YouTube for you guys to submit any questions that you might want to ask me. And as I said, a few of you did write some questions, so we're gonna go through that today. All right, so let's get to the fun part. I did take a screenshot of the Instagram questions which you guys submitted, and to be completely honest, I saw that you were submitting questions, but I tried my best not to look too into them because I want my answers to be kind of like honest and genuine here with you, as if we're sort of having like a little girl chat. So let's get into the first question, and that is going to be, what's your next luxury purchase or Christmas wish list? So as you guys probably know, if you have been watching my channel, I am embarking, or I have embarked in my Hermes journey. Pretty much all of my funds, sorry, let me put this quiet. Pretty much all of the funds that I have to spend, whether it's in handbags, shoes, clothing, anything like that, that's kind of like fashion or luxury related, I am trying to put aside for Hermes purposes, just because I'm sure you know how the whole Hermes journey works. I don't want to sound repetitive, but you kind of have to build a history with a specific SA and then hopefully be considered to get offered a bag. I have already put in my wish list for my 2 wish list bags, which I would love to be able to own. But as for an actual like wish list item that I have at the moment, I have to say that I don't really have anything in mind. Don't get me wrong, there's always handbags that come in and out, and I'm always so tempted, but then I always remember, May, focus on your goal. Make sure that if there is like something that I'm looking that I want from Hermes and I could put those funds towards it, then I try to be good and I try to just focus on my Hermes journey for the time being. As for a Christmas wish list, it was funny because I actually was talking to my husband about this the other day, and we had a puppy. Her name was Cookie. Unfortunately, she passed away about 2 years ago. She was like our child, basically. So I've been after a paw print sort of necklace, but I'm so picky about it. I've searched various websites, Etsy shops, but I haven't been able to find like a specific one that really calls my name. I don't want it to be too big. I want it to be just right because I would love to wear it on a daily basis. So I mentioned that to my husband and I told him, remember that I'm still on the lookout for my little paw print necklace. So that's pretty much all I asked for Christmas. I feel like we don't have any young kids in the family, so anytime that we want something, we get it ourselves. So Christmas for us is more like spending time with the family, doing something together. We do try to plan trips with both my parents and my in-laws during the Christmas holiday season. Trips are always our priority, even before luxury handbags and all that. So we do have a trip booked for this Christmas season, but it is more towards like the New Year's, kind of like, you know, the end of December. So that's pretty much all I have on my Christmas wish list at the moment. Let's move on to the next one. And this one was actually sent to me by my husband. And he says, what will you name your Birkin or Kelly when it arrives? I have a thing that I try to like name all of my really big milestone purchases. Don't get me wrong, all of my bags have some sort of memory to them, but there have been certain bags, whether it was my first luxury bag or it was like the bag that I wanted the most, my Celine Micro. My husband and I always kind of have this joke that we name them. My Picotin, I named it Cheval, which is in French horse, which is due to the history of the brand. So I definitely think, based on the fact that I would love a gold Birkin or Kelly, it would have to be something in relation to like Golden Child or my golden ticket or something like that. I would have to come up with something funny. I'm sure that once I get it, it'll come to me, but for the most part, I'm thinking within that route. So next up we have, what's your career and do you work 100% remote? I do. I work 100% remote. So I have an associate's in business. I didn't graduate with a bachelor's, let alone master's, PhD, anything like that. And then once I was doing my going through college, I started working in banking, and then I moved up in banking. So I've always done kind of finance and banking. I want to say about 3 years back, I quit banking and I started working sort of with my husband in his business, but then we had an opportunity for me to get this job remote, which was perfect because it was going to be an additional source of income for us. And I went ahead and took it, and I have no complaints. It's been great. Yes, do I miss dressing up and going to, you know, an office setting? Working in a bank, I always wore heels, I wore pencil skirts, nice dresses, blazers, all that good stuff. I do. I really miss that out of the job itself, because to be honest with you, for the most part at home, I'm either wearing joggers and a t-shirt or I'm wearing my pajamas the whole day. I do have to get better at that, but guys, once I get going, I just sit, like whether it's in the couch or whether it is in our little office that we do have for when I work from home and stuff like that. I mean, if I'm in my PJs and I just get going and I start doing my things, it's like 4 o'clock and I'm still in my PJs, and it doesn't bother me. But again, I do miss, you know, like the getting ready and things like that. I get ready more like 2 or 3 times a day whenever I sit down and film videos for you guys here. So yeah, that's pretty much, I think, the answer there. And then some of you said congrats, thank you again. And then I've wanted to start a YouTube channel for a long time. How did you get started with yours? So it's funny, this answer might be a little bit long, but I'll try to get through it as best as I can. I'm gonna try to edit this video as little as possible just so you guys get like the rawest answer I possibly can give you. So my husband and I took a trip back in 2015. We did a sabbatical, so we took a year off and just went to travel Europe. And throughout that process, you know, we had so much free time in our hands also that we did a lot of research, we learned a lot of things. So we sort of like came back just with a new mindset. And throughout that year, I actually discovered all of these amazing YouTubers that we all follow that do like luxury handbag reviews, that talk about handbags, talk about fashion, all these things. And every time that I would watch their videos while on that trip, I would think like, oh my God, I can totally do this. Like, I love talking about handbags, and nobody in my family kind of has like that love as I do. So nobody really had that love, you know, for like things, or understood my craziness, because my mom has always loved bags too. I mean, I think I get it from her. But as I said, sometimes it's not like I feel like sometimes I sound like a crazy person to her when I talk about handbags and all the details that, you know, I get into. So my husband was always like, oh my God, you should start a YouTube channel, you should start a YouTube channel. But like anything that's new, I was scared. I was like, no, like, you know, nobody's gonna follow me, or nobody's gonna want to talk to me about that. Like, there's already so many YouTube channels in regards to this matter. Like, it's gonna be so weird, you know, so on and so forth. And then again, when I left banking, that, you know, about 3 years ago, I kind of left with the idea of like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be, you know, kind of helping you in the business, I didn't have to be hands-on like 8 hours a day. I had free time to myself too. So I was like, this is gonna be my time. I'm gonna start it. And the main tip that I can give you, don't look at it as in the point of like, I'm gonna do this to make money, because you guys, it takes time. It takes time. It takes so much work. Rudy, my husband, and I laugh all the time because we're like, you're probably working for like 2 cents an hour or something like that. I mean, I love sharing with you guys like behind the scene things, especially on Instagram when we do reels. You know, I get my poor husband, I mean, I drive him crazy. I tell him, shoot it this way, or are you catching this? Do you have me here? And we try to have a good time about it. Believe me, like, he has more patience than I do, which is totally shocking. But even here, like in my filming space, when I'm gonna do reels, my reel is probably like 4 to 5 minutes, and then I narrow it down to 15 minutes that it is what I put on Instagram. So don't go at it thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this to make money and to become like a big influencer like we see. It doesn't work like that. It totally does not work like that. I would just say if it's something that you love, like me, I loved talking about handbags. I love putting together outfits. As you guys know, I pair luxury handbags and some accessories here and there, but for the most part, my outfits are pretty affordable. I honestly don't splurge a lot on clothing pieces, and I like showing that you don't have to be wearing a $500 shirt with a $1,000-something jacket and your handbag has to cost $3,000 for you to be able to look elegant or classic or have a chic outfit on. So I kind of pride myself around that, and that's sort of like the niche, I think is how you say it, that I've sort of built my channel and kind of like my Instagram around. So definitely find something that you like, that you can talk about, because I also thought about doing a travel channel. I actually started one at one point and completely shut it down. Rudy and I don't travel every other week. You know, as I said, travel is our priority and we try to travel as much as we possibly can. But I wasn't gonna have enough content to film to have like a growing channel in that sense. So I thought I would just make it sort of like a lifestyle kind of channel, you know, where I can share like all these luxury things. And then travel is also a luxury in my opinion. So I added it within my channel, and you guys enjoy my vlogs when we do travel and things like that. So I appreciate it. I'm glad that you do. And as I said, anytime that I build or that I film a video is because I'm generally excited to share something with you guys. I have taken a ton of breaks and I write, you know, whether it's in the community tab or whether it's over on Instagram, and I kind of let you guys know, hey, I'm taking a break, because if you're like me, like you're expecting, you know, the video, because I follow other YouTubers and I'm kind of like expecting their next video, and I don't want it to be like, oh my God, May just disappeared. No, I'm coming. I just need to take a mental break, you know, and I'll get back with more content and more fun stuff. So I hope that answers your question. I feel like I got a little bit, you know, derailed there for a moment, but if you guys have any other questions, then make sure to leave them in the comment section down below and I'll answer them. I won't do another video in regards to that. All right, next one is, are there any bags on your wish list other than Hermes? So if I wasn't on the Hermes journey, yes, as I said, there's always bags on my wish list. But I'm trying to really like analyze my collection, and if I have something that could already potentially serve that purpose, I'm trying not to duplicate on like the same styles, especially since handbags are getting just so out of control crazy. I have to say that Polène has really become a favorite of mine. Their prices are still reasonable in my opinion. Yes, will I spend probably a couple of thousands in a bag that I really, really love? Yes, but I really, really need to love it. So the one that I've had on my wish list for quite some time now that I think I will finally bite the bullet on, probably next year when we visit Europe, is the Bottega Veneta Jody in the size small. I've been eyeing the mini Jody. I think it'll be sort of like a fun bag, but at the same time, it'll be a nice bag that I can take into like my date nights. I don't go to like fancy events. My life is not that extravagant. I probably do date nights with the hubby, and every now and then we'll probably do something with a group of friends, but same thing. It's probably like a pair of jeans, high heels, and a cute top. So I would like to add it in their famous parakeet color. I love that color. You guys know me and color are not the best of friends, especially when it comes to handbags. I like to go with my neutrals. So I have to go in store and check it out. If not, I would probably just end up going for like a neutral, a really nice light beige, or maybe even a black. I also got another current bag wish list question, so I'm hoping I answered that. And then from this same person, which is Caro. Hi, Caro. She also asked next travel destination and travel destination wish list. So next travel destination, as I mentioned to you guys, we are going on a trip with my parents and my in-laws at the end of this year. That's going to be in state, so it is over to Georgia. We're hoping to get some nice cool weather. And then the hubby and I just booked our anniversary trip and we are heading back to London. We actually did our 1 year wedding anniversary in London, but one, that was a decade ago, so I'm sure so many things have changed. And two, we were just so new to traveling that we definitely traveled completely different than how we travel now. So I'm looking forward to that, and then we're potentially maybe doing a side trip to Scotland during that trip. So I'm super excited. I know that I had talked to you, Gato, about it. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to meet since you do live close by. All right, so next question is, how many bags do you take with you when you travel? All right, now I try to be really selective with the bags that I do take with me when I travel, because if you have caught some of our travel vlogs, I just travel with a carry-on and a personal item. For me, it's just easier that way. Is it ideal? Maybe not, because I do need to be very strategic with what I pack, what I take. And I've shared with you guys a couple of pack with me videos where I sort of go with like very classic, very neutral tones, so I can mix and match my outfit and make the most out of the pieces that I do take. So for that reason, I also try to take a very neutral tone sort of bag. Since I've gotten my Speedy B25, that has been one of the ones that I've gravitated to the most. And I also love taking my Longchamps, and I enjoy both of these because they're also so easy to pack. So whether it is in my personal item or in my carry-on, I can just lay them flat and then I can pack everything else that I need. For the most part, when we travel, especially if it is to Europe, I've mentioned this before, I try to add a new bag during that trip just because we save so much coming from the States. So I always try to plan my big luxury handbag purchases around that. And then it also makes it as a cute little souvenir for the place that we visited. So I probably take about 1 to 2 bags. I also take my toiletry with me, my toiletry 26, which is where I pack literally toiletries. And then I have an insert which I can turn that into a bag as well. All right, now we're nearing the end. No question, just that I enjoy your videos and posts and that lovely smile. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it means so much when you guys just interact with me, leave me messages, and some of you honestly go above and beyond to write such a sweet message. Like, it really warms my heart that there's so many genuinely nice people out there. Makes me really happy. So last question, and that is from Sel. Hi, Sel. So how do you plan your trips? What made you interested in luxury handbags? Okay, how do we plan our trips? So I think the only trip that we took through an agency was our honeymoon. And as I said, it was our first time flying abroad. We did Italy. We went ahead and booked everything through an agency. And then we started talking to people, and they told us that that was the worst way to go about it. I guess it is and it's not. Let me kind of go into there. So if you are new to like the whole travel experience, an agency is a good idea because obviously they'll plan everything for you. I feel like if you've never traveled and you're just starting to travel, and maybe you are a little bit older and need sort of like that guidance, or don't want to be wandering around, because we've definitely wandered around some shady places on our own, you know, you definitely want to have kind of like that travel agency guidance there with you. But there's so many free tools and resources nowadays that we just kind of got into the habit of doing a ton of research. We'll look into YouTube for people that maybe live in those specific places so that they recommend things out of the norm than like your regular like touristy spots. Last year we went to Portugal, and actually I was able to meet up with one of you guys here, Caro, and first of all, it's amazing because it's like I never would have imagined that I would have had such an amazing friendship with somebody literally across the world. But you know, they took us under their wing and they showed us around Porto, and seeing it from their perspective, even though we went to like a couple of touristy places, they also took us to like little hole in the walls, and that was just so amazing. So we start planning our trips like months in advance. That's why we also book months in advance, so that we know where it is that we're going and we have enough time to plan accordingly. hopefully that answered that question. And then the second one was, what made you interested in luxury handbags? So I've loved handbags all of my life. As I grew up, you know, I was able to buy a little bit more expensive bags, not only because I got into those types of brands, but also for quality purposes. I own Forever 21 bags now in my closet, but obviously those bags are not going to last you years and years. And I have kind of tried to focus on creating a classic collection that I know could last me years and years. As I said, yes, will I add a random bag here and there? Absolutely. But even then, I try to find a way to make it make sense that even if I add this bag and it's this specific color or it's this specific shape, it's still classic enough that I could use it for years. Have I made mistakes purchasing handbags? Absolutely. I mean, I think it's all part of the handbag collector process. But for the most part, I definitely dive in deep in doing research because these bags are not cheap and I don't want to spend my money on something. And then if I do decide to buy it, I'm going to lose money, or I just can't end up, if I do decide to sell it, I'm going to lose money, or I can't even end up selling it after all. So I try to do my research as much as I can. Hence why I also wanted to start this YouTube channel, to kind of be like a sort of guidance or like a point for you guys to come and see reviews and kind of get my 2 cents on specific pieces. So that does it for this little Q&A. Thank you so much for all of you guys that submitted a little question here and there. I hope I gave you a little bit more insight about me, about my handbag journey, about why I started this channel, and that you just enjoyed it and we spent a little good old time together. Again, thank you a million times. I can't believe we are already at 4,000. So as always, I will leave my most recent video linked right here for you guys to check out next, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye everyone.